J-Mad is not your everyday lunch partner. He's all the way raw.
How are you going to say Black Lives Matter when the only reason you come out is when cops kill us and we don't come out when we kill ourselves? That's crazy, man.
He's all the way real.
The truth? You can't even handle the truth.
And most of all, he has his priorities right.
I want the Falcons and the Hawks to be my pallbearers at my funeral. That way they can let me down just one last time.
J-Mad gives it to you big.
Yeah, you need that real talk. Well, J-Mad, he got ya. Right here doing God's work. Bringing life after the collar. Hey, radio show and he's doing it big. You just can't ignore. J-Mad, bringing you the word. Just holla at your boy. Hey, life after the collar with J-Mad.
That's right. You're listening to Life After the Collar with your boy J-Mad on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we are on. Even Alexa, that's right, Alexa can make it do what it do. Shout out to everybody that's on the live right now, Facebook Live, TikTok Live. I appreciate you all. Who is this? Yogi, what's going on with you, family? Good to have you on the show. Shout out to all of those that's over here on TikTok. I see you coming in. I am a little bit far away from there. My Faith Strong, what's going on with you? Let's see if I can get a couple more people. I'll just let it go. Dr. Tony, what's going on with you? Good to have you on the show. Aries, what's going on with you, dear? Good to have you on the show as well. I hope you all had a great weekend. I did. I absolutely did. I had an awesome weekend. I really did. More so because the Saints lost. My weekend was made because the Saints lost. It just made my whole football season. It was like, for me, it was like the Falcons won the Super Bowl. It is what it is. Hey, I did not want to see the Saints in the Super Bowl at all. At all. Not even. I did not want to see them in the playoffs. I mean, in the Super Bowl at all. Shout out to Brady. My money is behind Brady. My money is behind Brady. I think that he has. Yes, the Saints lost. I think he has the best chance right now, especially if Mahomes does not play. I think that was Act the Fool. What's up, Act the Fool? Anyway. That was so I had a great weekend. I had a chance to also, if you did not get a chance to see One Night in Miami, you need to check that movie out. Now, it is not, I'll say this, it is not for entertainment. It is not for entertainment. If you're looking for it to be a fast start and these ups and downs and all of this other stuff, you may not want to watch it. However, it is some great background information. It's a story about Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, and Sam Cooke. And they were in the hotel room the night Muhammad Ali won the championship game. And the night he came out, he was going to be called Clash's X before he was Muhammad Ali. And you hear some background stories about them. It's on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, it's on there. I really enjoyed the movie. I really did. Regina. Y'all remember Regina King, 227, Poetic Justice, the actress. She's the one that directed the movie. And it was to me, it was a really, really great movie. We was talking about it yesterday in the cigar lounge. We was talking about it, and we talked about what we enjoyed about things that we didn't know. Really great movie, really, really great movie for me. Some people would say it starts out slow. It does start off really slow because you're trying to figure out who's who, what's what. I think Malcolm X is one of the first one you kind of gather who that is. Muhammad Ali, I think. And they had great characters. They found great actors to play each person. Really great actors to play each person. I think you'll enjoy it. that's what I did this weekend. I hope everybody else had a good weekend. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Oh man, I meant to download that song. Y'all remember the movie about Martin Luther King, and then there was that one song they played in the movie that everybody just fell in love with. I meant to download that song, and I didn't get a chance. So maybe somewhere right in through here I'll play it. But what I am going to do, I'm getting ready to do, I'm going to play this speech from Martin Luther King, and then we're going to get into a good story. We're going to get into a good conversation, a great conversation. But I want you all to listen to this just for a second. Listen to it. It's only about 2 or 3 minutes long. Listen to it, and then we're going to dive into that conversation. All right. You're listening to Life After the Collar with your boy J Mad on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we're on. Even Alexa. That's right. Alexa can make it do what it do.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
That was Martin Luther King. That was his last speech that he did before he was assassanated. And I want to have a conversation about.
This is a CBS News special report.
I want to talk about some of the things that we go through, and what are we willing to let go of? What are we willing to put ourselves through? What are we willing to sacrifice? I was watching one of. Oh, let me do this. I saw some other people come into the chat room over here. Yogi, what's going on? Aries, what's going on? Jackie, what's going on with you? Good to have you in tonight. Tony, what's going on over here? Did I miss Wanda? What's going on with you? So we want to make sure. I want to talk tonight about having purpose in our lives. I want to deal with purpose in our lives. I want to talk about, do you know what your purpose is? Do you know how to get to your purpose? Do you know how to handle your purpose? Where are you with your purpose? Dr. King gave his life doing and during his tenure here on earth. And I want to know, where are we as individuals? We got so much going on in this in our country. We have so many opportunities to make change. So put that on your head. I'm gonna be right back. Let me adjust something, and I'll be right back.
Welcome to the Martin Luther King Jr. Center for Nonviolent Social Change. The center is the living legacy to Dr. King and his dream.
He had a dream?
Oh, yes. He had a dream for freedom, justice, and equality for all people, everywhere.
What's this?
This is the Nobel Peace Prize awarded to Dr. King for his nonviolent work.
What's that?
That's the proclamation declaring Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a national holiday, a holiday for peace.
Was Dr. King a good man? Was he a smart man? Was he a kind man?
Yes, he was all of these things.
Here's what I want to talk about. I want to begin to talk about, first of all, let's see if we can have this conversation about where we are in this world. We're living in a time where we have an opportunity as people, not just black people. I don't want to minimize our conversation with black, just concerning black people. I understand our plight as black folks, that we have a different struggle and we have different things, and we're playing catch up and all of this stuff. I get it. I truly get it. But if we are not willing to take care, I was talking earlier, last week on the show, I think it was. If we are not willing to take care of our own community, if we're not willing to take care of our own community, how do we expect the rest of this nation to view us? How do we expect the government, the people in government, to view us? If we're not taking care of ourselves, I get it. I 100% get it. I'm not missing anything. I'm not missing the fact that what we have in life and as a community, as black folks, it is based on what they have allowed us to have. What they have allowed us to have. And so I get it. I 100% get it. However, Martin Luther King would teach about self awareness. There's if you all get a chance to go tonight after the show, look up Martin Luther King's speech that he did on the blueprint of life. He has this really, really great. It's a long one, but then they have shorter clips where they shorten it to get the bullet points in there. And he gives some bullet points on what to do to create a life for you. And the very first thing he did was we must have a greater level of respect for our own selves. We have to have confidence in ourselves. In order to get to that place, there are some serious work that we have to do as a individual and then as a household. Before we can even address what's going on in our community or having a better community, the very first thing we have to do is self-awareness. That's the first thing we have to do. That's the first thing we have to learn. That's the first thing we have to come to grips with. That's the first thing we're going to have to develop. Self-pride. I can look. I love TikTok. I love TikTok. I love YouTube. I love Facebook. I love all of the social media stuff out there. But a lot of times I'm saddened by what I see on social media when it comes to us black folks. Let's just put it plain and simple. I'm bothered by what I'm seeing from our black folks. When it comes to how we present ourselves to the world, we're still I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be open and real, and if you all disagree with me, you have every right to disagree with me. I just have the mic. We still running around playing the jigaboo. We still running around and dancing for the people, and we think that our purpose here on earth is just to simply entertain people. We teach our children how to do certain dances and learn certain songs before we teach them how to read, how to spell their name. Half of them probably don't even know their mama real name, their daddy real name. They probably don't know how to count to 100. But you see them on these social media sites. We see them on these TikToks and things. And what it shows to me, what it shows to me is that there is a level of unawareness. There's a level of unawareness that our community has embedded itself in. We are quick to argue about what other folks are doing to us. We are really quick on jumping on what other folks do to us. And yes, we have the right to do that. We have the right to do when these cops out here are killing us, or when the government people, politicians are mishandling us, the corporate world is mishandling us, and so on and so on and so on. Yes, we have that right to have that argument, but the problem is we don't do the same when it comes to our own communities and our own homes. We don't look in the mirror. Michael Jackson had that song, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Before I could go and ask anybody to love me and treat me right, I'm going to say this loud. I'm black and I'm proud. I'm going to say this out loud. If I am not loving and treating myself right, why should anybody else? If the only roles we can get in Hollywood, and thank God that Hollywood has made a great change, but if the only roles we can get are from thugs, or being a bad dad, or being a single mother with a whole bunch of children, then hell, let's start in our own community and stop showing them that's what we do. We have to learn to start right in our own house. Before I could teach, before I could have and can teach my children anything about self-respect, I must first have self-respect. How is it that I'm going to tell my son not to do this, that, and the other, but I'm doing this, that, and the other? If I don't have any love for myself or self-respect for myself, how can I demand my children to have respect for me? this concept, back in the day, the parenting concept was do as I say, not as I do. The reason why our community is so jacked up, the reason why our homes are so jacked up is because of that very statement. It's literally based on that very statement. So now we teach our children by our actions that you can say anything, but you don't have to do anything. We have to learn. Right now at the cusp of this turn in the political atmosphere, in our society, in our nation. It's in the atmosphere that a change is here. It's for the taking. But if you're going to do the same thing if we are going to do the same thing we did that we've been doing the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, we are going to have the same results. When it comes to holding our our elected officials accountable. We can't do like we did in the past. We vote and go sit down somewhere. And then we wait for the next 2 or 4 years to roll around for them to start calling us, emailing us, mailing us, knocking on our doors. No, we got to be a part of the process from the day after the election until it's time for them to run up for election again. But we have to, if we're going to change this nation, if in our hearts and in our minds is a desire to change this nation and to build a better nation and to get rid of racism and to fight social injustice, fight the justice system. We have to start in our homes first. When we don't handle, if I don't handle my house, if I don't first handle me correctly, because if I handle me correctly, I'll handle my children and my wife and my nieces and my nephews and my cousin and what's down the line. I'll be able to handle it. It flows uphill. And then we set goals for ourselves. We come up with a different attitude and mindset for ourselves. Now when I go outside of my house to my community, I am exhibiting for the world to see I have a higher standard. And I don't care where I live. I can live in the projects. But if I have a different mindset when I'm in the projects, I look different, I walk different. And now I convince the rest of the people around me, those that are connected to me, that they should change too. I think we all have the same issues. Black people just get the light shine on these issues. Well, I don't want to say we have the same issues. White people don't have the same issues as us. For instance, white people don't have to worry about their kids, their sons, being shot by the police. I was watching on, I think it was a TikTok video. It was a TikTok video. And the home outside camera caught their son outside playing in the yard, playing basketball in the yard. And he went to grab the ball and he noticed the cop was coming down the street. When he noticed the cop was coming down the street, he grabbed the ball and hid behind the car. And then he looked to see that the cop had passed. We have to we do it differently. Let me do some adjustments here over on TikTok. Hopefully that'll work out better. But I understand what you're saying. Yes, we do have a lot of problems that we have to work on, and we do have very similar problems in different areas. Different problems in different areas, and some areas are the same, and some areas are different. So here's the thing. When we learn that in order for my nation for us to change on a national level, it starts at home. It literally starts at home. We can sit there and vote for a president all day long, but if we're not doing, if we're not a part of our HOA, if we're not a part of the PTA at school, if we're not doing our parts in our own community, there's nothing for that nation could do for us, because we're still going to have a jacked up community. The people up in D.C. only worry about the bigger picture. But when it comes to you and your daily lives, that's based on what you do in your own neighborhood. That's based on what you do in your own house. Your children's attitude and actions are not based on laws that the government has. Whether your children is a bad kid or a good kid, a responsible and grows into a responsible adult or not, that doesn't have anything to do with what the national lawmakers are saying. It has everything to do with what I'm teaching in my home, what I'm teaching my children. We look on social media all the time and see a lot of what's the biggest trend out now? The busset trend on TikTok. All of these people out here doing and I see the grown. And look, if you like it, I love it. If you like it, I love it. If you think that that's what you got to do, we're so busy trying to get them numbers up on TikTok, and we're so busy worried about what TikTok folks and social media folks know about us, see about us, feel about us, that we're missing everything. We're missing everything. We can run around here and say Black Lives Matter all day. Black lives does not matter if our own community are not holding ourselves to the same standard that we're asking that the cops hold us keep the standard we have for them. If we want them to have the standard of Black Lives Matter, then look in the mirror and tell yourself Black Lives Matter. Go into your communities and tell each other Black Lives Matter. When you see these drug dealers on the streets and on our corners, Black Lives Matter. When you know these gang members are out here doing this, that, and the other, tell them Black Lives Matter. But we don't want to say that, because it hits too close to home. Now I got to hold myself accountable too. Not only do I have to hold the police accountable for their actions, I don't want to hold my own self. I don't want to hold myself accountable. I don't want to hold my neighbor accountable. I don't want to hold those that's in the street accountable. Those that I see every single day. If Black Lives Matter, let's make it matter. Not just a one-way conversation. Not directed to just one group. Look in the mirror when you wake up in the morning and say Black Lives Matter, and the black person that you're looking at in the mirror, hold that person accountable. Then turn around and hold your children accountable. Hold your spouse or your significant other accountable. Then when you go outside of your door, hold your neighbors accountable. If we're going to say Black Lives Matter. I know most people don't, a large part of our community really don't want to hear that. They really don't want to have to deal with that. Because when they deal with that, if they have to deal with that, then it means that I am going to have to get out and do something. I'm going to have to get out and do something. If now I can't just sit there and argue. Thank you so much, whoever that said, thank you for your service. I can't sit there and argue that way and say, you got to treat me right. But you won't tell your community that they got to treat you right. You're listening to Life After the Collar with your boy J-Mad on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we're on. Even Alexa, that's right, Alexa can make it do what it do, baby, baby. You're listening to Life After the Collar with your boy J-Mad on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we're on. Even Alexa can make it do what it do. I was made a suggestion on earlier in the show, and I was telling you, check out Martin Luther King's Blueprint. The name of it is what is your life's blueprint? What is your life's blueprint? And he made some suggestions to what we should do. He said, number one in your life's blueprint should be a deeper belief in your own dignity, your worth, your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel like you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance. In order to have that mentality, or let me put it this way. When we have that mentality, it shows in our actions. It shows in our actions. When we if we're gonna have this blueprint, this deep, how did he put it? This deep of self-awareness, or deep belief in our own dignity. That's the word that he used. We should ask ourselves, and don't get it twisted. Don't think that I'm here to say y'all are doing it wrong, and these people over here are doing it right. I don't know what what individuals are doing it. My conversation is a blanket statement, because as a whole, our community needs to be, the black community needs to do better. As a whole. Education-wise, we need to do better. Business-wise, we need to do better. Think about this. Why don't we, and just be honest with me, why is it hard to support black businesses? Let's go ahead and have this conversation there. Why is it hard to support black businesses? Because for 9 times out of 10, the customer service is going to be bad. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have the quality is not going to be as good. And not everybody. I'm not saying everybody. I'm not saying all black companies are like this. All black owned businesses are like that. I'm not saying that. But 9 times out of 10, when we think about black owned businesses and supporting black owned business, these are some of the things that we think about. We may still support them. We may still go and help them out and give money on the day that they want us to help black businesses. They have this campaign out now. Every Tuesday you go and support 3 black businesses. But let's go ahead and be honest with this conversation. There are certain restaurants I don't like going in. When you go to, do you really like going to black neighborhoods? To the restaurants to a Popeyes or to a McDonald's or to a fast food joint or some type of restaurant in black neighborhoods? More than likely, no. More than likely, no. Because the customer service is going to suck. You got to deal with attitudes and what you ain't going to do. So there are plenty of areas in our community that needs to be addressed. Are all of us bad? No. Same when it comes to Democrats and Republicans. Not all Democrats are good, and not all Republicans are bad. There's good and bad in everything. I get it. But as a whole, I believe that we're living in a season, we're living in a perfect time to address some issues that we allow to be brushed under the rug. That we've ignored. That we ignored the drug issues that we have, the gang issues that we have, the lack of education that we have. There's even when it comes to the process we play in the political movement. It's a shame. Look at you can go to a black neighborhood and look at their school. Not go in the building, but just stand on the outside and look at their school. And then drive on the other side and look at the school in the white neighborhoods and ask yourself, how do their school get to look like that? And ours get to look like this. There is some things that we have to change. Yes, every race has its struggle. However, the white brothers and sisters are dealing with their own issues now. They're dealing with their hidden, the original sin. I think that's what they call it, and having to deal with. Wait a minute, maybe we did treat them unfairly. They're dealing with, I didn't believe when my black friends told me cops was doing this. I didn't believe that was possible. I had friends to tell me that. I had white friends to tell me they didn't believe cops was doing that to us. I agree with that. Black people have to learn to lift each other up and stop putting each other down. I'm 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. And I also understand this, that in order when we have to hold each other accountable, and when we hold each other accountable, we can't call it putting each other down. We have to call it telling them the truth. If you're doing something wrong, or if we're doing something, if you all see me doing something wrong and you correct me on it, I can't say you putting me down. No, you holding me accountable. There is a difference between holding each other accountable and putting other black folks down. For instance, they call it the crab mentality. I see that person over there being successful, but all I can do is talk about them instead of helping them, learning from them. That's putting people down. But if I see somebody doing wrong in my neighborhood and I hold them accountable, that's not putting each other down. Now, a lot of times, our community, we don't like it when people say you're doing it wrong. We don't. I don't even like it. I hate when people tell me you are doing this wrong. I don't like it, especially when I think I'm right. But when I became mature enough, I had to realize that wait, maybe I do need to adjust this. We'll discuss it. Because the only reason you're putting somebody down, the difference between putting somebody down and holding somebody accountable is that you allow conversation. There's a conversation that has to take place. The parents have more money in rich neighborhoods to invest in their children's education. I'm talking about, I have lived in both sides of the track, and I agree with that. I agree. Look. But the parents are not building the schools. It's the tax dollars that builds the school. And you could be in the same county. And I there's one area that I lived in, on one side of the track, same county, was considered the black folk side. And their elementary school was run down. not even 2 miles up the road was a nicer neighborhood. And they had a brand spanking new school. This one, the one in the black, they had trailers outside. You can look at the from the outside and see the building falling apart. That's what I'm talking. Why aren't we in our communities asking for our tax dollars to come to our neighborhoods too? We have the mentality of by any means necessary, no matter who gets stepped on. Yes. My desire for this conversation tonight, was simply to challenge us, one, to do better at home. Let me back up just a little bit further. My number one desire is to do better with the person in the mirror. When we change the person in the mirror, tonight my main goal was to start there. I started high and talked about the nations and so on and so on. But honestly, my whole conversation was based on when I was talking about what Martin Luther King was saying, the blueprints of your life. It's that person in the mirror. We have to address that person in the mirror. And before anybody else steps on our toes, how about we we step on our own toes first? We take an honest look. There's a technique I learned in Psychology 101 about taking inventory of yourself. And when you take the inventory of yourself, when you take inventory of yourself, you have to be willing to write down even the ugly part of you. We have to sit there and ask, what's okay? I know I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I'm good at this. I'm good at that. And we'll write that down in a heart. If you were to put that dividing line on a piece of paper, we put that line on the right down the middle. We could put pros and cons. Your pros will always outdo your cons. You have all kinds of good things to say about yourself or about ourselves. But when it comes to us writing down things that's bad, it's very difficult for us to do, and that's just being honest. Because in reality, and I just talk about myself. I know that there are some things about me that I don't want to have ownership. That people have told me you are this way, and I'm sitting there looking. I'm not that way. So when we take inventory of ourselves, when we go, watch this, when we go out in the world and people hold us accountable, we recognize, yeah, you're right. I do need to get that in check because I already looked at it. I already saw it in myself. I already see this. I've already seen this in myself. And because I've already seen this in myself, now somebody else come and hold me accountable to it. There's this one company. I'm not going to call the name. There's this one company where love going to the place. I absolutely love going to the place. However, the owner does not want to listen to the customers. And now the customers have walked away. The business is dying because the owner of the company don't want to recognize this is a problem. This is an issue. Whether it's individual, whether it's business. If you're not willing to address, there's a show I started watching yesterday. And it's about this guy, and it's another one. It used to be one where they go into the restaurants. And they try to figure out what's wrong with the restaurant. This one is different types of businesses. The problem with in every episode, it came down to the fact that the person did not want to realize that this is what they're doing wrong. They did not want to take ownership of I'm doing this wrong. So it is in our own lives. I hate when people tell me I'm this way, that way, because in my eyes, I think I'm a good guy. But if that person tells me I'm that way, and that person tells me I'm that way, and that person tells me, the only common denominator in that situation is me. If somebody through your whole life said you was this way, we 30, 40 years old, and every time something comes up, you're this way. You're this. And the other people don't even know each other. It's then that I got to take inventory. Well, maybe they're right. But we have to be willing to change. Martin Luther King used the word dignity. Let me see if I can pull it back up. We should have a deep belief in our own dignity. It's okay. I had to learn myself that it's okay when people tell me I'm doing something wrong. That's the only way we grow. If you see me out in public and I'm doing something wrong and you never correct me, then I'm gonna always be wrong. I'm gonna always do it wrong. If I don't, but before I even get to somebody else correcting me, I have to study to show myself approval. Or in other words, I got to recognize in myself that I need to improve on certain things. We always talk about, I'm going to do better. It's the beginning, new year, new me, all of this other stuff. But we still end up, the reason why we still end up the same old me is because we don't really address what's wrong. We don't change the old habits. Instead, we just sit there and expect the world to look at us differently. We ain't changed nothing. We just start making some statements. Oh, I'm this. It's a new year. It's a new me. And we supposed to believe the fact that it's a new year, but we haven't. I can't sit out there and say, oh, it's a new year. It's a new me. And I haven't done anything to change. I don't want to listen to anybody that's going to cause me to change, to challenge me to change. The way that I tell people this, especially when it comes to the Bible. If you read and study the Bible and the Bible never offends you, something is wrong. When you're reading and studying the Bible, you should be offended in some kind of way. And what I mean by offended, it should rub you the wrong way because you're doing something wrong. If you read the Bible and you never say ouch, if you go to church and you listen to these sermons and you never say ouch, he talking about me. But all the time, I opened up a sermon one time and I said that a lot of times when we go to church and we listen to a sermon, we see the bad guy, the villain in the sermon. We could put a face to it. Oh, that's him. That's her. Oh, yeah, she do this to me. Oh, he does that to me. But maybe, just maybe,
power on.
Just maybe you are the one that's the villain. And when the preacher is up there talking about the underdog that makes it over and the good person and the thing, we always put our face there. We always. It's a very common thing. But when we learn to read the Bible, when we learn to study the Bible, when we learn to listen to sermons, when we learn to listen to motivational speakers and things like that, and we say, ouch, now you're growing. Now you're growing. Because we found, we're seeing something, okay, you because it's in order to get better, we have to find out where the pain is. So if I touch you there, and it hurts, then address the ouch. Instead of saying, they don't know what they're talking about, instead of doing all of that. Sometimes we just have to look in the mirror. If we just look in the mirror, all of this starts right there in the mirror. You know, I have my conversation, my conversation on my shows or whatever is not to say that my life is together. By far not. I promise you, my life is not all the way together. I was ouching all weekend. But when we are honest with ourselves, and I'm learning better now. I am learning better now how to be more honest with myself. If I can do that, when I step outside of that door, I now, because I held myself accountable, now my light is a little bit brighter. And because now I changed my household, I could change my neighborhood. And if I'm able to change my neighborhood, I could change my community. And if I could change my community, I can change my city. And if I could change my city, I can change my nation. And if I can change this nation, I can change this world. And it all became, I changed the world simply by changing myself. Not relying on anybody else to change me. Not waiting on anybody to change me. But not being afraid of change. Not being afraid of change. If we can just do that. If we can do that. Just not be afraid to change. I want to read this before we go off air. I want to read this. I got 2 minutes. Our greatest fear. Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, handsome, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. You playing small does not serve this world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure about you. We are born to make magnificent the glory of God within us. It is not in some, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we liberate from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others. When we're able to let our own self be free, we make room for other people to be free too. But we got to start it at home. We got to start this thing at home. We got to recognize that by doing what we need to do, we'll help the people that we need to help. Are you in place? Are you doing what you need to do? Are you becoming better? Are we looking in the mirror at ourselves and say, I need to make this better in me. I'm not going to wait on anybody. I am going to do it myself. Even if Martin Luther King said when he was talking about nonviolence, he said, if everybody else chooses to go the other way, I will be the lone person standing saying that is wrong. Your personal boldness, your personal dignity has to be on the highest level. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate you all. Thank you so much. You've been listening to Life After the Collar with your boy J-Mad on Spreaker.com.
J-Mad is not your everyday lunch partner. He's all the way raw.
How are you going to say Black Lives Matter when the only reason you come out is when cops kill us and we don't come out when we kill ourselves? That's crazy, man.
He's all the way real.
The truth? You can't even handle the truth.
And most of all, he has his priorities right.
I want the Falcons and the Hawks to be my pallbearers at my funeral. That way they can let me down just one last time.
J-Mad gives it to you big.
Well, J-Mad, he got ya right here doing God's work, bringing life after the collar. Hey, radio show and he's doing it big. You just can't ignore J-Mad, bringing you the word. Just holler at your boy. Hey, Life After the Collar with J-Mad.